Peter Kent, CBC News, Saigon.
Peter Kent, NBC News, Rhodesia.
For Global News, I'm Peter Kent reporting.
This is what has kept Phnom Penh alive, the airlift. Up to 50 flights a day from Thailand and South Vietnam.
To me, Peter was always the reporter first, and that made him a good anchor and also a great producer, because as a producer, and I worked with Peter as a producer, he was able to understand what questions had to be asked, very curious mind, and also how to put pictures together.
3 rockets have hit in this area in the last 5 minutes.
Peter has and had guts. I mean, when Saigon was falling, he stayed.
The South Vietnamese are throwing literally everything they've got at the steadily advancing North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces.
There were many, many journalists that left. Peter hung in.
Their departure is hastened by rockets fired indiscriminately over the front lines and into their villages.
But I think overall his reporting of the end of the American years in Southeast Asia and Vietnam, you look at Peter Kent's journalism, television journalism of that time, as setting a standard for others to try to match, and there's no question about that. Peter was very much the correspondent who'd made his name not only nationally, but internationally, and really internationally. You know, other networks noticed him.
These children of the Karamoja survived one famine. The question now, can they survive another?
But he also brings heart to the job. He cares about the stories that he covers and the people that are touched by those stories.
From Global News, this is First National with Peter Kent.
Good evening, our top story.
He really has touched every facet of the broadcast journalism industry in this country and on all networks and so many stations.
One of the things that I've come to appreciate and respect about him is that, you know, when things are at their hottest and people are like this and the egos are clashing, you bring in Peter to solve the problem, and suddenly everyone goes away thinking they're a winner.
Hello, I'm Peter Kent, and I'm your Conservative candidate in Thornhill. You just heard some of my friends, colleagues, and neighbors talk about my career as a journalist, covering stories that shaped Canada and the world. Now I want to direct that experience and energy to help you and your family here in Thornhill. There's much at stake in this election. The effects of the historic events that are happening around the globe are being felt in Canada and here in Thornhill. Whether it's the downturn in the world economy, the continued threat of terrorism, the pressures on our ever-growing cities, or the stress on our environment. I firmly believe it is time Thornhill has experienced and principled representation in Ottawa to manage change and get things done for our community. To make the changes you've asked for, such as transit funding for the subway, a more secure economy, safer communities, and a cleaner environment, you need a representative at Stephen Harper's table who will stand up for you and be heard by the Prime Minister and his team. To be clear, I am the only candidate who can deliver what we need in this community. And to help you, I ask that you help me by voting Peter Kent on October 14th. To vote for Stéphane Dion's Liberals is simply not worth the risk. A vote for me would deliver a strong message to Prime Minister Harper that Thornhill wants to play a key role in Canada's future. I've enjoyed meeting many of your friends and neighbours on the campaign trail, and we've welcomed many new Conservative supporters along the way. I'm fiercely proud to be a Thornhiller. I'd be proud to represent you in Ottawa. Please make sure you make time to get out and vote on October 14th. And when you do, I ask that you vote for Peter Kent. Thank you for allowing me into your home. I'd be honored to receive your vote on Election Day.